Okay. Yay! Welcome to Great Goodness. I'm so glad you're here today. If you're listening on Facebook Live or if you're watching this later on YouTube, I'm just really grateful that you took the time to spend with us. I'm here today with my lovely partner, Karen Stewart,
Hello.
and we are so fortunate to have Grace Cavalieri as our guest today. Hi,
Oh,
Grace.
thank you so much.
And Karen's going to tell you all about grace in just a few minutes. I just do want to ask that you like and comment and subscribe to Great Goodness, share, and the commenting is really important because if something touches you, we want to know that.
Hmm.
We want to feel that with you and know how you experience this show. So be sure to share that. And if you create something in response to this episode, share that because we want to see it and we want to share what you've created. So be sure to be in touch and you can find us easily. And that's also down below in the About section if you're on YouTube. Okay.
That's all the stuff.
Yeah, I know. I'm always like, I skip it sometimes, but I know I shouldn't. So Karen, I see you're shuffling. You're going to pull a
I've got
card
some
for
cards
us.
going here. Yes, so we are going to pull a card today. And today I am pulling from, oh, I love this deck so much.
Hmm.
This is the book that comes with it, the Dream
Oh,
Oracle deck. And
oh,
oh, look at this lovely book. Like
oh.
all all
Mhm.
the the
Mhm.
cards
Mhm.
are
Mhm.
cards are
Mhm.
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 illustrated.
Mhm.
before. Oh, it's so lovely. This was written by Angie Solons, and the artwork is by Marta Orlowska, and the deck is published through US Games. So, love, love, love this deck. And
Mm.
we are not, it is an oracle deck, and we're not asking a question and we're not looking for guidance. We are just going to pull a card and see what kind of great energy it has for us and just kind of comment on what it speaks to us. And I promise you, I've really shuffled these cards way better than it looks like I have. So today, the card that we're going to look at, oh, and I will show you the backs of the cards too, just
I
so you
love the little
see the
fox.
little fox,
Oh,
right?
yes.
Okay, so today we are going to consider, I'm going to take a peek first. Oh, it's upside down. Oh, it's card number 29. Oh, lean into the storm.
That's the
Oh,
story of my life. I
oh,
lean in and I make a poem out of it.
oh my
Yes,
goodness.
Mm.
You are a
because
woman after
the
my soul. I
storm,
do the same thing.
the storm and the wound are the context for art. So
Hmm.
happily lean into the storm. I'm not afraid. I will use it. Thank you.
Oh, I
But
love this card. I love that she is,
I never saw such beautiful visuals, though. I
mhm,
don't have
isn't it
I have
gorgeous?
cards, but not like that. That's really inspiring.
I love this card. I love that she has a sort of an umbrella. I'm just going to peek at it again. Okay, it is this umbrella that she has above her is covered with little homes.
Have you ever seen that card before, Karen?
No, I haven't pulled this one before.
Well, to me, it
It's
means
meant for us today.
not to be afraid. Whatever comes to me, I will transform. S- Give me a storm. I will
I
transform
love
it and make
that.
it permanent on the page. So I like that one.
Oh my
Thank you,
goodness.
Karen. It's a
Thank
beautiful
you.
one. The art is really cool.
I find it interesting that they're homes, and that's well, I think of a home as a sanctuary, and for many years I didn't feel that I
Oh,
had a
yeah.
home.
Hmm.
And 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 I mean, I wonder if a group of homes, if a collective of homes is a community even, and then that makes me think of communities weathering storms and how that almost solidifies like so if you lean into it together,
Hmm.
the, oh my gosh, yes, that is what I'm trying to say. So I had this amazing event this weekend. My cousins, it was a cousins reunion, and we grew up every Sunday going to my nanny's, but we haven't been together in like 30 years. Some of them I hadn't seen in 30 years. But
Oh,
these are and it was so because like they all texted me afterwards, and we all had this feeling. We were like, it was like going home. Being there was like going home. And it was being with you. And so when I see the homes and I see the lean into the storm and our family, like most families, many families, I don't know, it seems like it's a family, it seems like it's a thing. It's filled with traumas. And
Lots of
So,
storms.
yeah, but when you lean into that, it doesn't
It-
have to be a collective trauma, it can be a collective healing.
Love it. Love that
yes,
concept so much.
yes, I love
Also,
that.
on a very granular level, I've
Mhm.
had a lot of physical house problems. And today, after this broadcast, a technician is coming to help right some of the problems. I mean, I cannot believe in 1 week so much
Mhm.
has happened to this house itself. But now, today is a turning point. Everything will be
Mm,
restored. And I feel really energetic about that card. Love the idea of community
mhm. Yeah.
because
Oh,
poets are a tribe.
Yes.
yes.
We give
Yes.
ourselves, you give me energy, you know. I mean, it's a life force. I'm so grateful.
I agree. And I think it's interesting when you say that because I think about, we all know Emily Dickinson wrote her poems and many of them weren't read. I guess that's a common thing to think about. But I really feel like you can write in solitude, but when someone hears your poem,
Hmm.
that's that's a
That's the
moment.
You
that's the
got it,
extra great
sister.
that's the extra great goodness.
You got it,
Yeah,
sister.
the sharing.
It's what makes us less lonely.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is when I read something and I think, oh, I've thought that, but never said it out loud. I thought, thank you. Someone has felt everything I have felt and just said, and they've said it for me. And every
Hmm.
Yeah.
time I write and I expose whatever I need to, I know that someone is going to have felt, we've all felt the same things.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Before we leave
It's
the
the
kitchen, we have all felt sadness, grief, betrayal, praise, credit for something you didn't do, credit for something you did do. We've felt everything you can feel before the age of 5. So why
Hmm.
should I be afraid to let you know how I feel?
yes.
Yes.
I love that.
So when you say that, I feel like what one thing I hear, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that one of the some of the work of a poem is to communicate feelings, like how a
Oh,
person feels.
it's nothing without the felt life.
Nothing without the felt
Mhm.
Because
life.
language itself is just luggage, it's just hieroglyphics. And we do want to I always use the 4 elements of Jung when I teach, which are thinking, feeling, sensuality, and intuition. We look for one of those, if not all of them, in the poem. But if you don't have the feeling part, I have nothing but clutter and beautiful spots on the page because it is
Mm.
what humanizes us. Poetry is meant to share our humanity, not our intelligence only. The thinking part's important, but if that's all there is, I always say write a letter to the editor. If you just want to
Right.
give just to give a rant,
Yeah.
No, what I feel is what you feel, and I trust that.
Mm.
Oh
Did you
my
say
goodness.
thinking, feeling, sensuality, and intuition?
Yes,
Okay.
you really have a good audio learning part. Yeah, the intuition is the hardest part because that takes a seasoned poet to know what to leave out of a poem, how much to leave
Mm.
out, and how much to trust the reader. If we leave out too much, you
Mm.
know what we have. We've all read inaccessible poetry. If you put
Hmm.
in
Yeah.
too much, you're hitting them in the head with an axe. So intuition is just knowing how to stand close to someone without stepping on their feet.
Mm.
And
Oh,
it's hard to teach, but after you've done it for a long time, in my groups, they start, oh, I get it. I'm going to lose the last line, which is kind of an editorial statement. They start knowing that space is like listening. So it's a wonderful journey I take with people.
Mm.
I want to go deep in that journey, but also, once again, we have this classic thing. I don't know why Angie and I do this every time. We get so excited about our guest and we pull the card, and then we all start talking, and we end up doing the bio like 5 minutes into
Midway.
Oh,
things, right?
listen, it's a
So,
good thing.
so we know who Grace is, but we want everybody else to
Yeah, but
have a
I'm
little.
so old, it will take up the whole program, please.
We have a very abbreviated version. I just want to share with everybody to dazzle them, and just because this is really important, all these things that you've been doing, Grace. So humor me for a moment. I'm going to read a very, very abbreviated bio of just a few of the awesome things about Miss Grace Cavalieri. Okay, here we go. Grace Cavalieri was Maryland's 10th Poet Laureate from 2018 to 2023. Her newest books are The Third Voice and Fables from Italy and Beyond with Jeffrey Himes in 2025, Owning the Not So Distant World, which won the Blue Light Book Award in 2024, and The Long Game Poems New and Selected in 2023. Grace founded and still produces The Poet and the Poem for public radio, now from the Library of Congress, celebrating 48 years on air in 2025. She
Mm.
holds, among many awards, the CPB Silver Medal from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. 25 years of her podcast were sent to the moon on lunar codex in 2023. That is so cool. This is a time capsule filled with examples of human creativity that's left on the moon to serve as an archive of human culture, y'all.
Mm.
You should also know that Grace Cavalieri is an Academy of American Poets Fellow, who Angie and I are so delighted to have joining us for some great goodness today. Welcome, Grace. Thank you
Oh,
so much for being
you're
here.
so both so dear to me. I'm just, when are you coming to Annapolis? You have to eat crab
Don't
by the
tease.
water. I'm not kidding.
Don't tease.
You guys are just, you're
Mm.
my, oh my gosh, you're my sisters
Oh,
already.
Mm.
Well, thank you for that bio. I just turned 93 and I'm on my 94th year to heaven and I'm not finished yet, guys. I'm
Mm.
not finished yet because the best years are ahead of me. I mean, what are my choices?
you are already inspiring me like
Well,
crazy.
poetry, it is, if you every day deal with the creativity of making something that didn't exist before, that's in collaboration with God, if you whatever you call
Mm-hmm.
energy.
Mm-hmm.
So you make something new every day, you are in the divine. You're creating.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I tell everyone to write a poem every day, every
Do,
morning.
so
Oh,
you have a daily practice.
I am very disciplined. And I always say discipline is not being punished, it's being a disciple to something.
Mm.
So
mm,
whenever I start with poets, I make them declare themselves in the universe, make a commitment. I am a writer, to say it out loud. And if they make that commitment out loud to the universe, then they have to follow through. And everyone has a moment to in the morning to put down a phrase or an image and stash it away for later. Because just to get in the zone, the connection. And I think it will make us better. Joseph Brodsky, the Nobel Prize winner, said that the only record we have of humankind from the classics before ancient civilization was in the poetry. The
Mm.
oh,
land deals, the treatises, none of that. The poetry is the only thing that showed human sensibilities, what people thought and felt. That's a pretty big mission for us to
yeah.
carry on.
Mhm.
I mean, you guys are part of civilization and you're making your indentation. What happens if we don't do that? I mean, that is, I
Yeah.
take it very seriously.
Mhm. And how long have you had a daily practice? How long have you been a writer? Like,
I believe that writers are born.
mhm.
I think we're
Mm-hmm.
all born with it wired a certain way. I truly believe that
Yeah.
because many of us try to understand the world through language when we're very young.
Mhm.
You know, we try to clarify what the confusion through words. And everyone I know always says they always wrote as a child. And I think I
Yeah.
started at 9, jotting things down just to make myself feel better, or not in any kind of relic or to be made permanent. But words always, I understood that they would make things clearer if I could just
Yes. Yeah.
get my hand around it and say what I saw. I'd understand it better. And that's all we do with poetry. I'm very engaged with the haiku now because it's not 575. That's what English teachers taught for syllables. It's
Yeah.
stopping and noticing the
Mm.
world for 1 minute and really putting down what you see in that moment in the present. So it's a practice I've done to calm myself down lately.
So
That is
it
beautiful.
is beautiful. And I have one thing I want to say, but I also feel like this is a great opportunity to ask you to maybe read a poem or read a haiku if you have one
Yes.
that
Oh,
you
I'd
can
love
share.
that. I have a couple poems here. One is I had a husband who supported my art very much. In fact, he used to fund the plays I put on, and
Mm.
he called it government funding for the arts because he was a naval aviator.
Oh,
So I'll dedicate this poem to him. It's called House. Within the wall, there is a room, and in the room, there is a chair, and on that chair, there sat a man, and in that man, there was a home made of woman, chair, and wall. And on that wall, there is a photo. And in that photo, there smiles a man. And on the rug, there sat the chair. And in that chair, a woman came and took the hand of the man who in the photo held a woman's hand. And to that wall, they both assembled to stand within a golden frame until the day this poem was written so they could sit upon a chair within the walls where there was once a rug and where there was a chair with a man who loved a woman, who loved a man, who held his hand within a house made of walls. So some things will never die. Storm
Mm.
the house. Call death is a storm, right?
Mm-hmm.
But look, we
oh,
make things out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Death stormed this house.
Mm-hmm.
And look at that card, it prevails.
And to hear you read that poem, like one of the things I feel,
mhm.
and I don't know if this is what you meant, but for me, when I hear that poem, it articulates that feeling of how the people we love and spend our lives with, they're woven into everything. They're,
Yes.
and I did a lot of hospice work and the art with art and writing and poetry.
Oh, how generous of you.
I wish I'd had this poem to use as an
It's a
example
beautiful
because
poem.
it to me articulates the feeling that people try to express over and over and over again of how that person is they're
In
everywhere.
the wall and in the
Hmm.
rug, in the
Hmm.
frame.
Yes. Oh, I love that so
Thank
much.
you. Oh,
Mhm.
thank you, Angie and Karen. Thank you very much. You're the perfect audience for poets.
Oh,
Poets should only read for poets. I feel
right.
they'll get the right reaction every time.
I was going to say something too earlier about you were talking about writing to make sense of
Mm,
and to clarify, to get clear, to gain clarity. And I think the other thing that I was when I went back to writing poetry again, I one of the things I realized is that it transformed things that were dark, things that were painful,
oh,
into
yeah.
something beautiful. That trauma didn't become like that trauma. It wasn't something that was beautiful, but it the
You can,
language was so
yeah.
beautiful with the rhythm, the sound, the musicality, the and it does that make
You have
sense?
hit the
Yeah.
major point in poetry. The wound
Mm,
is, if we can't get to the wound, I have a group of really brilliant women who started with me about 6 years ago, and they started with superficial things, but when they got to their wound, that's when the poetry became alive, because the wound is a context. I mean, poetry is a context. Art is a context for
Mhm,
that. If we can reach that, it doesn't mean to complain. It means to
hmm.
find what the hot center in you that never goes away, and it could be from childhood. It could be every day. But if unless you get in touch with that initial pain, then I don't know what your poetry can float on, really. And it doesn't
mhm.
have, as you read
Yeah.
that poem, is not especially complaining.
Mm-mm.
It's not especially, it's meant to be sad. It's meant to say something happened here, and these
Yeah.
words are trying to make it permanent, but it
Hmm.
really happened. The
Hmm.
wound says it really happened.
Yeah. I think that, and I wanted to ask you about this too, but for myself, I feel like part of the magic of poetry, and I've been writing it forever and still not sure
Mm.
how it
I want to
happened,
see your
but
poetry.
it well, it feels to me like a big part of the magic of poetry is that somehow, because there's so many tools available to you as a poet or as a reader of poetry, that you end up accessing something that you didn't see coming, right? It's like
Mm.
Good. That's a good way to
I
say it.
and
Mm.
I think too, reading other people's poetry does the same thing. Like I may be reading somebody's poem about their dog, and then all of a sudden it conjures in me some train of thought I wasn't expecting to have. And I'm just wondering, if do you feel that same kind of magic about
You guys are
poetry? And
saying such good things for me to remember. Um, Discovery. When we write our poems, I keep saying, give yourself back to yourself because you don't
Mhm.
know who you are really until you write that poem. I mean, all of us write to find out who we are. We write to get the answers. And you're right, Karen, when I read another person's poem, and the element of surprise, because
Right.
I know the poet experienced that surprise, or it couldn't have worked for me as a reader.
Yeah.
Whatever you do as a writer works for you. And so I think every poem should have a sense of discovery. I mean, I never know how my poems are going to end,
Hmm.
and I shouldn't. It's not a chess game.
Mm.
Right.
It's like an act of discovery. I mean, let's see
Yeah.
what happens, and then let's burnish it, and let's rub it, and let's massage it, and make it look pretty on the page.
Yeah.
But um, I agree completely. And there should be an argument in the poem, in a way. That poem I just read doesn't. There's an argument in there. There's a little conflict. Something happened. There's a push pull. So
Mhm.
I think a surprise or an argument, it comes from the reader, I mean, the writer to the reader.
Hmm.
And
And I think one of the moments that, well, I feel like I'm talking out of line, Grace, because I feel like you're the teacher, and I'm like,
oh
well,
my
let me
I
tell
God,
know,
you what I
right?
see in
That's
your poem.
I have learning. You are kidding. The sun comes up every day, and I'm surprised.
But,
Everything you're saying is new to me.
but,
Everything you're saying I've never heard before. You two have got to be on my show.
but what I
When the Library of Congress opens, if it ever opens.
Right.
when I when one thing I heard in your poem, like you're talking about the argument or like this conflict or this tension, it seemed to me, and I couldn't see it on the page, but what I heard happening was the man, the woman, the wall, the rug, the frame, all of these things got closer and closer and closer and closer to one another in the poem. And it felt to me like it was amping, and like if that makes any sense, like that made me feel this
You
tension.
have
The
verified
tension. Yeah.
something because I made my line lengths very small, like 3 words per line, so that you caught that in an
Okay.
auditory way makes me feel successful. That's exactly what I wanted. Compression.
Okay.
In compression is tension. So if
Hmm.
you want to get, as you know, on the page, if you want tension or anger, or you just make your line short.
Hmm. I
That's a
felt
secret.
that.
Right.
Um,
Okay.
so
Yes.
I feel like we could talk craft and poetry all day, but
Let's.
I do,
I do
I
have
do,
a technician coming in
Right.
25
There's
minutes.
never enough time.
but I do want to hear about some of the, I know you've put goodness into the world through your poetry, but also you've taught, you do the podcast, and I wondered if you wanted to talk some, or the lunar codex even, like I wondered if you wanted to talk some about some of those things, or one that has meant the most to
Yeah.
you, or
What do
It's
you
all,
want to tell us about?
thank you, Karen and Angie. Are you Angela, actually?
I'm either. I,
But were you
and
born Angela?
I was born Angela. Hmm.
Oh, yeah, my
But
daughter's Angela.
but I was named for a Rolling Stones song called Angie. But my mom said if she
Oh,
ever does anything important, she might want a whole name, so we'll name her Angela.
Your mother sounds rather
oh, I
cool.
love
Very
that.
cool. You didn't know that, Karen, right?
No, I didn't. That's great.
That is so cool.
Hmm.
What were we talking about?
The goodness you've put
Whatever we
into the world.
wanted.
What
Yeah.
do you want to be
Um,
sure we know?
I think in a crib I knew I wanted to communicate. I think I knew my whole life when I was little. I kept making people come to the porch and listen to stories and get their clean dresses on and put talcum powder on and sit and listen to me tell a story.
I love
How
that.
embarrassing. And just the idea of communication. I think I was so alone, even though I had family, that I think that loneliness makes us want to reach other people. So, it's not sacrificial what I do. When I put somebody on the air, as you do,
Mhm.
many people, it helps their poetry and it helps their books, but
Mhm.
it's not a sacrifice. I get so much back from that. It's
Mhm.
hydration. I
Yeah.
get so much back from everyone. So teaching and publish, I have a small press. When I get a first book for someone who's never had a book out, that is fulfillment.
Mm.
Really. Writers know not to make, they're not going to make any money.
Mhm.
As I
Right.
as I told you, my husband said all the money in the art was his. But we know something else is happening to be prosperous. And
Yes.
all that and you just do it every day. Like I said, an image in the morning adds up because they're all from you. So they'll all be from the same source and they'll all wind up being a poem. But every day, if you do your thing, then in 50 years, 48 years, a physicist says, let's put your stuff on the moon. You didn't
Mm.
think of that when you were hustling for a grant on a radio station in Washington, D.C., to get to the Library of Congress, to go to the satellite, to go national. You never thought of that. You just thought of doing it, getting that poet on the microphone that had never
Mhm.
been there before. And
Mhm.
all of a sudden, 48 years, you've done 3,000 poets and they're all archived. And a physicist says, let's them put them on a coin this big.
Mm.
He put that on a coin and plus 91 um, countries, artists for
Oh,
91. And it didn't even take the whole quarter. That
Wow.
little quarter went on a launch from NASA called Lunar Codex. And that landed in the ocean of storms. What a name for a poet.
oh my
And
goodness.
someday, if we can do that, someday someone's going to land something that can turn all that music on, all that poetry on.
Mhm.
So, but every day, you just do something that makes you feel good and makes someone else feel good. And nothing better in the world. To give somebody what they want is the greatest gift you can give yourself.
Mhm.
It makes me so happy. And
Mm.
it sounds like I'm not at all sacrificial, it's all selfish.
I I
I get it
I
all back.
I don't.
it's true. Like when we do these episodes, sometimes I come to the Zoom like I'm overwhelmed, I'm tired, and by the time I leave, I'm transformed by hearing
Yeah.
someone else's story. It just fills me up. And
Amen, sister.
mhm,
Amen.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
yeah.
And women are especially good at this. Nothing against any other gender that might exist on this
Mhm.
planet, but women are so accessible.
Mhm.
That is
Yeah, I
why.
think we're kind of naturally nurturing, right?
Mhm.
It's
So
just
poetry fits into nurturing
Mhm.
mhm.
because it makes you stop
Mhm.
and be quiet for a minute. And you can't dream in a hurry. So you can't write poetry or
Mhm.
read it in a hurry. So stopping is good. It's very healing. And then also makes you notice things more. Like if you stop, you can see the flowers. If most of us walk to get somewhere.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Poetry's the opposite, is to be there with something. And
Mm.
um, the Zen practice of looking at something for a long time till you get a haiku out of it is good because I'm Italian. I'm highly wired. I'm like a laser beam. I had a handle on being a spirit, and being in a body is very
Mhm.
cumbersome. But
Mhm.
poetry makes me just sit still for a while.
Mm.
Then I'm up making a banana bread or
Mhm.
chicken cacciatore. But
Mhm.
in that interim, I know I am really who I am.
Mm. Isn't that
Yeah.
something that when you really see, you suddenly feel calm and whole, intact and real?
Like, do
Yeah.
you know that moment I'm talking about, like where you're walking the dog and then you stop by the creek and you look up and you're like,
And you see,
whoa,
it's that moment
whoa,
when you see.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That golden light, the leaf, and you're like,
Yeah.
I just saw that leaf
Exactly.
change. I
Why
Yeah.
didn't
just
you?
saw
Now, if
that.
you wrote that down, I just saw that leaf change. That's enough for
Yeah.
haiku.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's enough. You don't have to have 575. You're just
Right.
making permanent the moment.
Yeah.
So you can carry a pencil with your dog next time.
Maybe I'll do that. Karen
You
has a,
don't do that already, Angie? You got what? That's crazy.
you know, I don't have a daily practice. I'm terrible
Oh
about it.
Well, this
gosh.
is
Stick a notepad in your blue jeans pocket and a pen. Good gracious. Jot that
how
stuff
often do you
down.
do this show?
Oh, we're
Probably
random.
we
Oh,
are so
really? Oh, it's
We're
like not
pretty
once a week,
random.
once a month or something like that.
it's at least once a month.
Oh,
Sometimes
Usually,
it's
oh,
once a
yeah.
week, and
Yeah. Or
it
oh,
twice a week.
depends. Sometimes it's twice a
oh,
week. Yeah.
that's a
It is
lot.
true. It's
Yeah.
random, Angie. You got to own it. It's
But
pretty
it's
random.
permanent when you have a complete, it's
Mhm.
made permanent, so it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
matter because
Yeah.
time is an illusion. Anyway,
Mhm.
um, after, we will go on forever. You know, radio waves go on forever. Isn't that funny? They never stop. Radio waves are
Mm.
in a vibration in the universe and they never stop. And I love that my poets' voices are somewhere out there forever.
Okay, so
Mm.
since you said this, I had a thought earlier, and I'm just gonna ask this question. Okay, so when we look at the back of the oracle cards, there are two fox, and I suddenly thought, are there two fox, or is there a reflection of a fox?
Mm.
And like, are we all just reflections of each
Oh,
other? Do you know what I mean? Like, are there many of it? I don't know. I just was
you do
having.
know. You do know, Angie. Never say I don't know again because you know everything. We
Mhm.
are multiple dimensions right now. I
Mhm.
don't want someone to come in and have me committed for saying this, but we are holograms. We know
Mhm.
that. Physicists have proved this, that,
Mhm.
Mhm.
you know, Isa is a poet who says, the world is made of dew,
Mm.
and yet, DEW. The
Mhm.
world is that perishable, that, but it
Mhm.
is truly so delicate. We are in a form right now where we think we're overlapping our realities, so we all agree this is reality. But there are numerous dimensions to our being.
Mhm.
Do you really think you're just a
Mhm.
three-dimensional little thing
Right.
walking
Right.
around? Do you
Right.
really think that? My God, where
Right.
do you think ideas come from?
Right. Okay. So, all
Yeah.
right. I'm so glad I said this because I
His
saw this
doggy
fox today.
behind you.
Yeah.
Angela, look at your like
And
doggy.
I know.
He's so quiet.
Well,
Is it a she or a he?
At
it's
the
a
moment,
he. It's a he. His
He's
name is
looking out.
Ferdinand. Wait,
Oh, he
now
heard
he's
you.
not quiet.
He heard you. That was so
Mm.
cute. Look, he's looking out. He must see. Oh, he must see a dog, a bird. What a
he's
beautiful
very
sight.
excited. He's excited about it.
Beautiful. I hope our viewers can see him.
So I had what did, oh, I know what I was gonna say. When you speak about that, it makes me think about like I have the ability for mediumship. Um, and you know, it's interesting because because people you don't have to believe in this. Like this is just
I'm with
an
you.
option of how to see things. But you like people like there are spirits. So they've left their body, they're spirits and people are like, "Well, what about if I believe in reincarnation?" Or well, honestly, that spirit can still communicate from spirit world and be in another
Mm.
form also at the same time. Like so it's and they're communicating with there's so much happening beyond this like this that I see easily right now like this that has shape this skin this
The invisible is where it's at.
yeah
It's where it's at. And I've had mediums get in touch with my husband, and he's the very same personality he ever
Mhm.
was. We can have another show on this, or else talk over coffee one day. But I have actually had experiences with other people who have gone by. They haven't gone anywhere at all.
Mhm.
They haven't gone anywhere at all.
Yeah.
So that is really a subject for a different show, but I totally have proof of it. I totally have proof of it.
Well,
Yeah.
let me ask you this, okay? Because I feel like one of the things poetry does is it articulates, is inarticulable even a word? But it
Mhm.
articulates the invisible, the unseen, the unknown.
Right.
And and that's something that like I know I struggle with in my poetry, but I feel like that poem that you shared with us, you did that. Like you articulated the way we weave, the way we're woven into
Mhm.
one another and one another's lives, and even the home. Like I feel like you did that. And I wondered when you're teaching, is there something that, and maybe it's the haiku, maybe it's just the being observant, maybe it's just the practice, but how,
You know, a lot of people don't want to talk about anything beyond their dimension, so I can't do anything with them. You know, they'll talk about
Mm.
they'll do wonderful things, but it will
Yeah.
be all within the realm of what can be observed
mm,
and proven. But other people, I mean, I've had magnificent experiences. Um, I was trying to write a book about Madame de Staël, who was an 18th century writer who no one knows, and it made me mad because all these men
mm-hmm,
are listed, Rousseau and all that. But she wouldn't work with me. I've written Mary Wollstonecraft and Nicole Smith, my women, and they all worked with me, and I got their voices. I couldn't get this woman. So I
Mhm.
called a medium, and she got in touch with her, and she says, I don't care what she does. Why should I let her, why do, why? So then she said, if she will fill her room with flowers, I will come and dip my toe into the pool. So I filled my room with flowers, and I was able to get her and write this book of poems in her voice. But it doesn't have the blood that my other women have. But I'm totally in
Mm.
touch with my people. I mean, I'm totally in touch with my people.
Ah.
They may not be here, but I can channel them. And this is going to scare a lot of people away. But just
mm-hmm,
wait 100 years because it's
mm-hmm,
evolutionary.
mm-hmm,
Right,
You
right.
don't have
Yeah.
tails and toes, 6 toes, but now evolution is psychic and spiritual.
mm-hmm,
It's all
Mhm.
evolutionary. We're still
mm-hmm,
moving. It's just not
Mhm.
with physical matter.
mm-hmm,
So poetry is
Yeah,
part of that spirit, poetry spirit, right?
mm-hmm.
right, right.
Yes,
That's
Yeah,
right.
and
yes,
whimsicality is one part of being, right? That's the physical thing that you can feel and touch.
Yes,
It's just one
Karen.
part, but being is
Yes,
about
Karen.
a whole, and everybody, I mean, if you really think about it, regardless of what your religious or woo beliefs or whatever, everybody knows that there is more to this and everything.
Not
A card
everybody,
me
unfortunately.
on some level, but it's not just your skin and bones, right? It's not just about the piece of paper. There's a lot going on. There's a lot.
Yeah. And
There's a lot.
what I hear you saying, Grace, like if we come back to the great goodness and we're like, okay, you know, what goodness are we putting into the world? What is that goodness about? How do we do that? Like how do we work within that
Mm.
and multiply it? What I hear you saying,
Mm.
I feel like is to have an openness. Like whether you're doing your podcast, whether you're writing, whether you're whatever you're doing, seem open.
Well, we're demonstrating this today, aren't we?
Yes.
We're
We're
very open.
demonstrating
We are free form.
my new word for the word, my new word I'm living by now is allow.
Ooh.
Ooh, I'm writing
Just
it. Oh, we're
allow.
both writing it down.
And we all know about surrender, but if
Mhm.
you use the word allow about everything in your life,
Mhm.
Mm,
you know, your resistance is gone. And you might think, oh, this is, oh, I if I don't enter, they won't get the right thing done. No, just allow, and everything is the way it's going to be and the way it's supposed
mhm.
to be. It has solved my stomach problem. I have in 5 minutes, I have a technician coming
Okay.
to my
Oh
house
Okay.
gosh.
Okay.
to fix the broken house that was stormed.
Okay. All right. We're going to finish. All right. Here we go.
I
Grace.
feel bad saying that.
No, 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 no.
Will
No,
you
we
This
all
is
have a
how we
thing.
do.
will you
This
Yeah,
come
is,
this is
back
how
on
we
my
roll.
will you come on my show in 2026
of
and
course.
we'll knock that
Yeah.
wheels out of people.
Yeah.
So let me quickly say thank you so much, Grace, for being here with us today and for being so open and allowing the
Mhm.
conversation and the feelings and the you just we all just allowed it to come and it was absolutely transformational. Thank you so much. And for our prompt, I'm just going to quickly say this. Um, gosh, there's so much to pick from, but your prompt, I think we're going to stick with poetry today, and we are going to quote Grace, and we're going to say poetry, and pull out your poetry, and when you're revising,
I think
rem,
everybody froze. Oh, Angie,
remember.
we froze for a moment.
Oh, we did.
No, I
Yeah, just
didn't.
I
oh, you
didn't.
didn't? Oh,
No.
I
You did.
froze.
You did. No.
But you're back. So
Okay.
remember, pull out your poems, and when you're revising, here's the things I want you to think about. I want you to pull out one. And I want you to think about these things that the poem is to share our humanity. Has this poem shared our humanity? Where you want listening is there space. And then look for these things, the thinking, the feeling, the sensuality, and the intuition. And remember that the storm and the wound are the context for the poem. Are they there? So I stole all of that from Grace.
Oh,
Well
that
done,
is
ma'am. Well
awesome.
done.
Thank you.
Thank you, Grace. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to
I
abruptly
bow to
end.
you. I bow
Oh,
to you
thank you.
both. I've
Thank you
met
all.
two new friends that are on my vibe.
Thank y'all. I am abruptly ending now. Thank y'all so much.